How to win at your money goals, even when you fail. Have you ever set a money goal and not achieved it, failed? Or have you avoided money goals entirely because you don't think they're possible? If either of those sound like you, then today's video might help you out. So, I am a true money goal believer. I never used to be like that, but I've implemented it in my life and it has been a game changer for me. So, today I'm going to explain some of my money goals, how it's worked out well for me, even when I failed at it. And then, if you stick around, I am going to share my 5 practical tips for how to succeed at money goals. So I have made a big, audacious money goal, and that is an overarching goal, which is to pay my mortgage off early. And it's so important to know your why for big goals. So my big goal is so that I can either retire early or maybe scale back my career and transition to a fun career until I get to retirement, or do some trial retirements. So take a year off and have the money to go and travel. Paying off my mortgage will give me that flexibility. So that's my overarching goal and my why. Then I have a specific goal, which is to pay off my mortgage 9 years early. That's right, which is very aggressive and may not be achievable. And then my tactic is to double my weekly payments. So that's how I'm going about my goal. Like I said, it may not be achievable, but I'm a big believer in setting these big goals that even if you don't make them, they were worth trying for in the first place. So, I'm going to tell you about last year and how I failed multiple times at doubling my weekly payments. So, I was very lucky last year that a good friend of mine invited me to go to Quebec City with her. And if you're not Canadian or don't know about Quebec City, it is a fortified city, the only one in North America. It's like being in Europe when you're in Canada. It's absolutely gorgeous. And Quebec is the French province in Canada. And I love all things French. I used to teach French. So for me, it's just fun to go there. I was born in Quebec and used to live there and love to go back. So it was a big opportunity and one that I had not planned for. So I tried to save for it, but car repairs came up. And so it was time to go on the trip. I didn't have the money saved that I wanted to. And I could not pay that extra on my mortgage for 4 weeks. I stopped making those payments. So that was problem number one. Problem number two came in November, December, and that was when I was trying to, save for Christmas gifts. And I had some car troubles and I had a couple of expenses, things that I needed to buy. So for 12 weeks, I was not able to pay extra on my mortgage. So basically, I failed 4 out of 12 months last year. I was not able to pay extra on my mortgage about 25% of the time. So, you could look at that as a big failure, but in the end, just having the goal has helped me to get to paying my mortgage off faster. So, my overarching goal was to pay off the mortgage early so I could retire early or transition to a fun career, basically, so I could have more flexibility. So maybe I'm not going to pay off the mortgage 9 years early. Maybe it's only going to be 8, 7, or 6 years early. But even that failure means that I am 6 years ahead than where I would have been if I had never made the goal at all. So, making these big goals can really help you to move forward in your life, even if you don't achieve them. Now, I promised you my top 5 tips for keeping to a budget and making your budget successful and achieving these financial goals. So, here they are. Tip number one is to make a big overarching goal and know your why. So for me, my overarching goal was to pay the mortgage off early, and my why is freedom, flexibility, ability to travel, maybe switching to, a fun career. So I really want to have choices, options. That's what it's really all about. And then I made a specific goal. Um, Knowing your why is what's going to keep you on track, and it's going to help you to find new tactics and new ways to reach your goal if the old way isn't working. So I've done this a couple of times. I did it with my mortgage. I was able to save to take a 8-month career break a few years ago where I traveled the world. And that was really because I knew my why. It made me stick with it. I was able to make choices that put more money towards that because I was so excited about the end goal. So you may say to me, yeah, that's great, Karen. You had something really fun to look forward to, but I'm trying to pay down debt. So that's not very much fun. And I would agree, like, yeah, that's a different kind of a goal. But the key is attaching that to a why. So, why do you want to pay off debt? Is it the feeling of peace that it's going to give you? Is it so that you can teach your kids to be better with their money by modeling that for them? Is it, how you're going to feel that calm and peace? Is it because once that's paid off, then your money is going to go towards investments for retirement or towards a trip? So you just really need to take that goal and attach it to a why that is very clear and very real for you. It's motivating that way than just having a general goal without that why. The why, it makes all the difference. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, I've alluded to it already. Make your specific goal audacious instead of easily achievable. So when you look at SMART goals, they're supposed to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And while that's great for a lot of goals, I have really been able to move forward and achieve amazing things by having audacious goals that I thought I may not be able to achieve, instead of just setting goals that are very attainable. So I would encourage you to stretch that, to make big goals. And then if you fall short, it doesn't matter. You've still gone so far forward. I like the quote, if you're not failing semi regularly, your goals aren't big enough. And that's so true. So try for those big goals. And then if you don't meet them, you're still so much farther along. Tip number three is to always take money for your goals off the top. So, you have to pay your mortgage, and maybe you have a car payment, and, you have different subscriptions and, investments in retirement. So that all comes off the top. It's automatic. Well, at least the way I do it, I get it paid automatically. And then my savings for my big goals, I take it off the top. So I automatically transfer it into a savings account. What it does is it takes the choice out of it. It happens automatically. So sure, if you want to go and take that money out of savings, you can, but you're less likely to do that. If you pay yourself first and take that off the top, you're more likely to be successful than if you wait and transfer it each month, or worse yet, wait until the end of the month and see if you have enough money to transfer over. Because I can almost guarantee you our money just gets sucked up, right? Doing other things. It'll just disappear unless you make a plan for it. So taking that money off the top really helps to achieve your money goals. Tip number four is about flexibility and failure. You have to be flexible. Life is meant to be lived. So I try to meet my money goals. Well, I try to meet them 100% of the time. I would say I meet them about 85% of the time or greater. But when things come up, like that opportunity to go to Quebec City, you take it because life is meant to be lived. Just try the majority of the time to meet your savings goals, but be flexible. And then talking about the other F, failure. Again, if you fail at a really big goal, you still have the habits and the discipline that you built to get you there. You are still moving forward. So even if you fall slightly short of this big goal, you're still moving forward. And I like to think of it in terms of Olympians. The vast majority of Olympians will never win a medal, but they have gotten so far, and the skills they've learned, the tenacity, the um, discipline, and the skills they've learned will serve them forever. And what a ride it was for them to get that far. So think that way, where you really do want to try to fail once in a while, because if you're not failing, you're not stretching yourself far enough. But be flexible and be kind to yourself. And when you fail, let it go and move on and get back on track. Then tip number five is something that I talk about a lot, and it's your earn rate and your burn rate, and having a gap between the two. So having a fairly decent earn rate, the money that you're bringing in, is very helpful, but you also have to look at your burn rate. How many payments are you locked into that are taking up your money? Because if your earn rate is up here, but your burn rate is also up here, you have very little flexibility in there. But if you can keep your burn rate low and your earn rate high, you have all of this room to make decisions with your money. You could put extra money on your mortgage, you can put it towards a vacation, put it towards retirement. Whatever your big goal is, it gives you more choices and more flexibility. So just always trying to keep that burn rate lower and your earn rate higher, and then you have choice with what you do in the with the money in between. So that's how I look at money goals and failure. I wouldn't say I try to fail, but I do set goals that are so audacious and so big and challenging that I do tend to fail, but I still see it as a win. So let me know, did you find this helpful? Does that give you a new way to look at money goals? Are you more tempted to set money goals? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe. It helps me to be able to make more videos like this one. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video.